Story number 1. No Way Out. 14-year-old Jake Collins watched the snow fall outside his bedroom window, his gaming headset buzzing with chatter from his online friends. His parents had left just an hour ago, flying to New York for a last-minute business trip, leaving him alone in their remote, high-tech mansion nestled deep in the Colorado mountains. "You're so lucky, dude," his best friend, Ryan, said through the headset. "A whole weekend of pizza and gaming with no parents? That's the dream." Jake grinned. "Yeah, until I run out of food and have to eat cereal for dinner." But deep down, he was excited. The house was a technological marvel, filled with state-of-the-art security systems, AI-controlled locks, and motion sensors. His dad, a cybersecurity expert, had always been paranoid about safety. "No one is getting in or out of this place without me knowing," his father always said. Or so he thought. Started just after midnight. Jake had fallen asleep on the couch, half-eaten pizza on the coffee table, when a strange noise woke him. A soft beeping sound, like a security panel being overridden. At first, he thought it was just the wind. But then the power flickered, and a new noise filled the house. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Inside the house, Jake's stomach twisted. His dad's security system should have made it impossible for anyone to get in. But as he reached for his phone, he saw something even worse. No signal. No Wi-Fi. No emergency call option. Panic surged through him, but he forced himself to stay quiet. He grabbed a fireplace poker and crept toward the security monitor in the hallway. The screen showed 4 men moving through the house, dressed in tactical gear, armed, and moving like professionals. They weren't burglars. This was something else. Then he heard them talking. "Find the drive," one of the men whispered. "The kid's here alone. If he sees anything, we kill him." Jake's mind raced. They weren't here for him. They were looking for something. And whatever it was, his father had never mentioned it. His first instinct was to hide. He knew the house better than anyone. The hidden crawl spaces, the attic, the emergency exit his dad had built into the basement. But running wouldn't solve anything. These men were too well equipped. If they found what they were looking for, there'd be no reason to leave him alive. Instead, Jake became the hunter. He moved through the house quietly, using the security system to track their movements. The house had hidden motion sensors, and he could see their red dots moving on the screen. He needed a weapon. His dad's old hunting crossbow was in the garage, but getting there meant slipping past the intruders. As he crept through the dark, he heard one of them stop near the kitchen. "Kids around here somewhere," the man muttered. "Stay alert." Jake grabbed a bag of marbles from a drawer and tossed them across the hallway. The sound sent the man spinning around, gun raised. As he turned, Jake slipped past into the garage. With his hands shaking, Jake grabbed the crossbow, loaded a bolt, and took a deep breath. He wasn't a fighter, but he had one advantage. This was his house. He got to work. He loosened the railing on the second-floor balcony, creating a deadly drop. He set up an electrified doorknob using wires from a lamp. He filled the hallway with fishing wire, nearly invisible in the dim light. Then he waited. The first intruder, a muscular guy with a scar on his cheek, hit the fishing wire hard, crashing into the floor with a loud grunt. Before he could recover, Jake fired the crossbow, a direct hit to the shoulder. The man screamed, but Jake didn't wait. He grabbed a wrench and smashed a nearby security panel, triggering the emergency lockdown. Metal shutters crashed down over the windows and doors. "You little..." the man snarled, yanking the arrow out. But before he could stand, Jake kicked him hard in the face, knocking him unconscious. 1 down, 3 to go. The remaining intruders weren't stupid. Their leader, Vance, was ex-military. He wasn't falling for tricks. "You think you're smart, kid?" Vance's voice echoed through the house. "We've dealt with worse than you. Come out and we won't make it painful." Jake's heart pounded. He knew they were trying to corner him. He needed to separate them. Using the security system's voice controls, he played audio recordings of footsteps in different rooms. It worked. One of the men split off to investigate. As the thug entered the basement, Jake dropped a shelf on him, pinning him down. Before the man could fight back, Jake smashed him over the head with a crowbar. 2 down. But then a gunshot rang out. Jake ducked as a bullet slammed into the wall inches from his head. Vance had found him. Jake ran, heart pounding. He sprinted into the indoor pool area, knowing it was his best chance. Vance followed, gun raised. "You should have just stayed hidden, kid," he growled. Jake dove into the water just as Vance fired. The bullet missed, but Jake wasn't out of danger. He stayed underwater, swimming to the far end. He knew about the hidden drain system his dad had installed, big enough for a person to slip through. As Vance searched for him, Jake reached into the pool's control panel and cranked the temperature to boiling hot. Vance cursed as scalding water filled the pool, disorienting him. That was Jake's chance. He lunged from the water and tackled Vance, knocking the gun away. The two fought, fists flying. Jake took a brutal punch to the ribs, but he had one last trick, a shard of broken glass from the pool light. With a final effort, Jake stabbed it into Vance's leg, sending him crashing into the water. Vance gasped, his strength fading. Jake grabbed his gun and pointed it at him. "Get out of my house," he growled. By the time the police arrived, Jake was exhausted. The intruders were either unconscious or gone. The authorities took Vance into custody, and Jake's parents arrived the next day, horrified but proud. "You saved yourself," his dad said, gripping his shoulder. But Jake wasn't celebrating. As he lay in bed that night, his phone vibrated. Unknown number, "Good job, kid. But this isn't over." Jake stared at the message, his stomach twisting. Somewhere out there, someone else was watching, and they weren't done with him yet. Story number 2. Shadows in the Dark. 15-year-old Ethan Carter wasn't afraid of being home alone. Living in a penthouse apartment in downtown Chicago, he was used to his parents traveling for work. With triple locked doors, 24/7 security downstairs, and cameras everywhere, there was nothing to fear. The city was already on edge. For the past 2 months, a group known as the Hollow Men had been terrorizing wealthy families, breaking into their homes, stealing millions, and leaving no witnesses. Ethan's parents had left for a charity gala in New York, promising to be back in 2 days. "Lock the doors, don't open for anyone, and don't stay up too late," his mom had said with a kiss on his forehead. They had no idea he was about to be their next target. Ethan spent the evening playing video games, eating takeout, and enjoying his temporary freedom. But as he reached for his soda, he noticed something strange. The front door was unlocked. His heart stopped. No, that wasn't possible. He had locked it himself. Trying to stay calm, he grabbed his dad's golf club and slowly checked every room. Nothing seemed out of place. Maybe he had just forgotten. But then he saw it. The security camera feed on his phone was offline. Someone had cut the connection. And that's when the power went out. Darkness swallowed the penthouse. The city lights outside barely cast a glow through the enormous glass windows. Ethan's breath came fast and shallow. Then, a soft knock at the door. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. Ethan stayed silent. A voice, deep and distorted, spoke through the door. "Open up, kid. We just want to talk." Ethan backed away. His parents had warned him about this group. They didn't leave survivors. Then he heard the sound that turned his blood to ice. The doorknob turning. They were coming in. Ethan sprinted to his bedroom, locking the door. He grabbed his phone, but there was no signal. The landline? Dead. He checked the cameras on his laptop. Still nothing. But he had backup footage from before the power cut. He rewound it and saw something terrifying. 5 masked figures had entered the building through the staff entrance. They had disabled the cameras and taken out the doorman. They were already inside. Then, from the hallway, he heard footsteps. Slow, heavy, calculated. They weren't searching randomly. They knew exactly where he was. Ethan had 2 choices, hide or fight. He wasn't going to just sit and wait to die. Using his knowledge of the apartment's layout, he started setting traps. Glass shards under the rug in the hallway. One wrong step and they'd be in agony. A tripwire made from a phone charger cord, leading to a falling bookshelf. Boiling water on the kitchen counter, ready to throw. He took his dad's hunting knife from the closet and waited. Minutes passed. Then a loud thud. One of them had hit the tripwire. A muffled curse came from the hallway. Ethan peeked through the cracked door and saw a man on the floor, struggling to get up. His mask had slipped, revealing a scarred face. Ethan didn't hesitate. He grabbed the boiling water and hurled it at the intruder. The man screamed as it scalded his skin. Ethan ran. The others weren't far behind. He could hear them moving fast, communicating in low voices. "Don't kill him yet. The boss wants him alive." Ethan's stomach twisted. "Why?" He reached the fire escape and yanked the window open, only to stop cold. A sixth man was waiting outside. Their plan was airtight. They had blocked every exit. Then his phone buzzed. "Unknown number, you can't run, Ethan. We've been watching you for a long time." His blood ran cold. This wasn't random. They wanted him specifically. But why? As Ethan tried to think, the front door burst open. The Hollow Men were done playing. He darted into his father's office, slamming the door and locking it. He had one last option: his father's hidden gun safe. Hands shaking, he entered the security code. The safe clicked open. Inside was a USB drive labeled Project Hollow. Ethan's mind raced. Was this why they were here? He grabbed the pistol inside, just as the door exploded off its hinges. The leader of the Hollow Men stood in the doorway, a towering figure in a black mask. "Give me the drive, kid," he said, voice like gravel. "And maybe I won't kill you." Ethan clenched his jaw. "Go to hell." The leader took a step forward. Ethan fired. The gunshot echoed through the penthouse. The leader staggered back, blood blooming across his shoulder. But he didn't fall. "You're gonna regret that," he growled. Ethan didn't wait. He grabbed the USB, sprinted past the wounded man, and dove out the broken window onto the fire escape. The cold night air hit him like a slap. Below, he saw flashing blue lights. The police. Finally, the Hollow Men saw them too. They vanished into the darkness. Their mission failed. Hours later, Ethan sat in a police station, the USB drive clutched in his hand. The police were baffled. The Hollow Men had never left a victim alive before. His father arrived, eyes dark with worry. "Are you okay?" Ethan looked at him, then at the drive. "Dad, what the hell is this?" His father sighed. "Something I never wanted you to see." Before Ethan could ask anything else, his phone buzzed one last time. "Unknown number, you survived this time. But we're not done with you yet." Ethan tightened his grip on the drive. This wasn't over. Not even close. Story number 3. The night they came. 16-year-old Noah Reeves hated living in Black Hollow, a forgotten little town in rural Oregon. With only 5,000 people, nothing ever happened. Until 3 weeks ago, when a family was found slaughtered in their home. Their bodies arranged in a perfect circle, a strange symbol drawn in their blood on the floor. The town whispered about a cult. Others said it was just a crazed drifter passing through. But Noah's mother, the local sheriff, wasn't convinced. "Lock the doors, don't answer for anyone, and keep the shotgun loaded," she told him before heading to work the night shift. "If something feels wrong, you call me." No hesitation. She was being paranoid. At least that's what Noah thought. Until they came for him. The night started normal. Noah was home alone, watching horror movies and eating leftover pizza. His dog, Ranger, lay beside him on the couch, ears twitching in sleep. Then, at 11:47 p.m., Ranger's ears shot up. He lifted his head and growled at the front door. Noah frowned. "What is it, boy?" A knock. Slow. Deliberate. 3 times. Noah froze. He wasn't expecting anyone. Another knock. He grabbed his phone and checked the security camera feed. The porch was empty. Another knock. But this time, it came from the back door. Noah's skin prickled. Someone was playing games. He grabbed the shotgun from above the fireplace, just as his mother had taught him, and moved to the kitchen. The back door was locked. But then he noticed something. The kitchen window was open. His breath caught in his throat. Someone had already gotten inside. He turned slowly, scanning the dark house. Then a shadow moved. It was faint, just barely visible in the dim glow of the TV. A figure stood in the hallway, completely still. They wore a mask, pale, featureless, with hollow eye sockets. Noah's fingers tightened on the shotgun. "Who the hell are you?" he demanded. The figure tilted its head, almost like it was studying him. Then it took a step forward. Noah fired. The gunshot shattered the silence. The blast tore through the hallway, but the figure was gone, vanished. Noah's pulse thundered. He knew he had hit something, but there was no blood, no body, nothing. Ranger started barking like crazy. Then the power went out. The house plunged into darkness. Noah cursed, gripping the shotgun as he backed into the kitchen. He tried his phone, no signal. Something scraped against the hardwood floor behind him. More than one. Ranger snarled, his fur bristling. Then came whispers, soft, unintelligible, everywhere. Noah's blood turned to ice. "Get out of my house," he shouted, firing another shot into the darkness. A voice, low and human, whispered right beside his ear. "We never left." Noah bolted. He sprinted upstairs, Ranger at his heels, and locked himself in his mother's bedroom. He barricaded the door with a dresser, heart pounding. The whispers were closer now, slithering through the cracks in the door, seeping into his brain. He turned on his mom's police radio. Static. Then, "Sheriff Reeves, we need backup. It's happening again." The transmission cut out. Noah's stomach dropped. It's happening again. Then, something scratched against the bedroom window. Slow, deliberate. With shaking hands, he turned his head. A pale mask stared at him through the glass. Upside down. They were on the roof. A hand smashed through the glass, fingers grasping wildly. Noah stumbled back as the thing, the masked figure, climbed inside, moving unnaturally fast. Ranger lunged, sinking his teeth into the intruder's arm. The thing didn't scream, didn't react. It simply turned its head toward Noah. And then it spoke. "You're the last one." Noah fired. The shotgun blast sent the figure flying backward, crashing through the shattered window. But as it fell from the roof, it didn't make a sound. Then laughter. From downstairs. Dozens of voices. Noah peeked through the window. His blood ran cold. In the street below, figures in pale masks stood in a perfect circle, staring up at him. Waiting. Noah's mind raced. What did they mean? The last one? Then, his gaze landed on his mom's desk. A file was left open. Inside, crime scene photos. The murdered family from 3 weeks ago. Noah's breath caught. The symbol drawn in blood, he had seen it before. He turned to the mirror. It was carved into his own chest. His mother had been keeping a secret. The cult wasn't after just anyone. They were after him. A loud crash from downstairs. They were inside. Noah grabbed a can of gasoline from the closet. If he was going down, he was taking them with him. He poured the gas along the stairwell, striking a match. The flames erupted, climbing the walls. Then his mom's voice. "Noah!" His breath hitched. He turned toward the front door. She was there. But something was wrong. The mask hung from her hand. Blood smeared her uniform, her eyes black as the void. "Come outside, Noah," she whispered. "It's time to finish the ritual." The flames spread fast. The masked figures stood beyond the fire, watching, waiting. His mother, or whatever was wearing her face, smiled. Noah's grip tightened on the shotgun. He had two choices: step into the fire and end it, or step outside and face the truth. Outside, the cult chanted, "One more, one more, one more." Noah closed his eyes and made his choice. Story number 4. The Man in the Attic. 17-year-old Claire Evans didn't believe in ghosts. She didn't believe in curses, haunted houses, or any of the stories people told about the old Victorian house on Holloway Street. Her family had just moved to this small town in Maine for a fresh start after her parents' messy divorce. The house was cheap, big, and honestly kind of beautiful, despite the way the town whispered about it. A family lived there before. The parents vanished. The kid too. House sat empty for years. Her mom rolled her eyes. People love to make up stories. Claire agreed. It was just an old house. until she found the hidden door in the attic and realized someone had been living there. Claire's mom had to work the night shift at the hospital, leaving her alone. She didn't mind. She had her laptop, a tub of ice cream, and zero responsibilities. Then, at midnight, she heard it. Creak. A slow, deliberate footstep. Right above her. The attic. She froze. The house was old, it made sounds. Right? Then another footstep. And another. Slow. Pacing. Claire's skin prickled. Something was up there. And it wasn't going away. Grabbing her phone and a baseball bat, she climbed the attic stairs. The air was cold, colder than the rest of the house. Dust hung in the air, undisturbed. But something was wrong. In the far corner, behind old furniture and boxes, she saw it. A small door. She had never noticed it before. Something told her to turn around, go back downstairs, and forget about it. Instead, she reached out and opened it. Behind the door was a tiny hidden room. Inside, a mattress, blankets, empty food cans, and a notebook. She flipped it open. The writing was messy, frantic. He watches me sleep. He moves in the walls. I can never leave. Claire's breath hitched. Then a sound behind her. The attic door. It had just closed by itself. Claire bolted downstairs, heart hammering. She locked every door, grabbed her phone, and called her mom. Straight to voicemail. Then a sound in the walls. A slow scraping noise, coming from inside the vents. Claire's stomach twisted. Someone was crawling through them, coming down. She grabbed her keys. She had to get out. Then, from the darkness of the hallway, a voice. Claire. Chapter 5, The Man in the Attic. A shadow moved at the end of the hallway. A man stepped forward. Gaunt, hollow-eyed, smiling, like he had been waiting for her. Claire screamed and ran for the front door, but the locks wouldn't turn. Behind her, the man whispered, "You found my room." Her shaking hands finally yanked the door open. She sprinted outside, straight into the arms of a police officer. The cops searched the house, and they found him, living inside the attic walls, a homeless drifter using the hidden space to survive. He had been there for years, watching the house's previous owners, watching Claire, and he wasn't working alone. Inside his hidden room, the cops found a list of names. Every family who had ever lived in the house. And next to Claire's name, tonight's date. The police took him away. The nightmare was over, or so she thought. The next day, as Claire packed to leave, she noticed something on the floor. A note, written in the same frantic handwriting from the notebook. The man in the attic is not the only one. Then a soft creak. From inside the walls,